As you well know, the balance of power in Congress is precarious right now, with Republicans not being able to do much of anything. They've got like a 1 or 2 vote lead right now, and even though they are in the majority, it's barely. But we can change that. It starts with our elections. There's a primary election in West Virginia today as it happens, and that state is finally turning red. We know that the senator is going to be a Republican, but what about the House? With me to discuss a key race, a candidate for Congress in West Virginia's 2nd Congressional District, retired Air Force Brigadier General Chris Walker. General, good to have you here.
It's good to be with you.
Well, you were telling me in the break the weather's not ideal, and the turnout has been a bit slow so far, but hopefully the sun will shine, and the sun will shine on you. What are the key things driving people in West Virginia today?
The key things are the economy, the price of eggs, gas, milk, bread. They are afraid of what's going on at the southern border because West Virginia is affected by fentanyl and these drugs more than probably any other state. And in West Virginia, there are lots of veterans and there's a lot of veteran support, and they're worried about national security and what's happening to our military.
Let me ask you about what you just said, though. Because this is important. People, they miss this. A lot of people, just the people not in the drug trade and don't take drugs and don't do street drugs, they just assume, fentanyl and heroin and all these drugs, crack and meth, whatever, it's a big city problem. The fact of the matter is, rural states, quiet areas are far more devastated by illegal drugs than the cities, or at least equally devastated. That's fair to say, isn't it?
That's not only fair to say, it's totally accurate. And the big cities, if they really want to, they have more resources for task forces to get out there. But that's why the drug dealers sneak into rural states where they can get in under the radar and establish their addicts.
One of the things, I'm going to talk about the economy real quick here. Bidenomics, right? Even an agricultural state like West Virginia, you got beef cows, you got dairy cows, you got hogs, you got chickens, and the price goes up. But you know where the price is coming down? Methamphetamines. In fact, there aren't even any meth labs left in America to speak of because they can't make any money because the cartels are shipping that stuff in so cheap, General, that the meth labs are out of business. I guess that's good news in one way, but terrible news in the other, isn't it?
It's terrible news for all Americans. It's great news for the Mexican cartels. Again, right. This administration has been facilitating the illegal immigration, facilitating drugs, facilitating human trafficking, and they're trying to tell everybody and gaslight everybody that saying, hey, everything is okay. And they're saying this economy is great. And we got people like Paul Krugman. I don't know how he got his Nobel Prize, but he's trying to say, oh, the economy is great. And everybody
Neither does anybody else. Nobody else knows how he's an economist. For who? 5th graders? Not even. Anyhow, it's bizarre. Let me ask you about something about your military background while I've got you here. How long, honestly, would it take to secure the southern border? We talk about all these drugs. We talk about the damage to the economy. We just saw this terrible bus crash in Florida involving what appears to be a busload of potential illegals. Crashed, several people killed in this event. And we have these sorts of things happen all the time. Lake and Riley, of course, that horrible story out of Georgia is just an example of what's going on. What would it take with your military background and idea to shut down and secure the border? I think it's fairly straightforward. I think that you deploy the National Guard, federalize them like was done in Little Rock in 1957 under General Eisenhower. You do what you need to do. You back them up with local police and the county sheriff, and you secure the border. Is it really that difficult?
It's not that difficult. Matter of fact, as you say, when you brought up Little Rock, I'll bring up one that's even more recent. Back in 2006, the National Guard, and I was the Crisis Action Team director for that, the Air National Guard. We sent National Guard troops down to the border to partner with the Border Patrol, and we set up tactics, and procedures, as well as systems that secured things. Now you add to that President Trump's policies of saying you can't apply for asylum unless you apply in your own country or you stay in Mexico, but you're not coming over here to do it. And that closes it down. But we still have to deal with the 10 million who have already snuck across. And so that's going to take a little bit of time.
General, I agree with you on that. I didn't realize that 18 years ago that we basically did a test run for what's happening today. So we can shut the border down, we can secure it, make America safer, because it's not just folks. It used to be 90% of the folks coming in came from Central and South America. Not true anymore, as you well know. Most of them came from 4 countries before. Now you've got Chinese nationals in Chad and Sudan and Ethiopia, right?
That's right. All over the Middle East and Asia. You go, wait a minute. How are these people getting the money to get across the ocean and over here? It's all planned.
Of course it is. But General, I wish you well today. You sound like a reasonable, common sense sort of a guy who's done some things in life, has this thing that's not something you can buy. It's called experience. And my God, we could use some experience in the United States Congress, my friend. I'll give you the last word.
I'll say this. You talk about my military service. I hate to bring up another news outlet, but Fox News just today put out a story where my opponent, Riley Moore, was accusing me of stolen valor and saying that, and his campaign said that I never flew in combat. And so that was easily disproven. I just sent my records to Fox News and that story. So tell your folks to take a look at that and spread the word that this is how low my opponent will go.
Well, General, I wish you well today. I look forward to talking to you again, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Now, there's a good man, I think.